Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So now that we're over a month into the NHL season and I've been yapping about what teams I think are very good, what teams are fugazi, what teams absolutely stink, I decided to flip it and instead ask you guys who you think the best and the worst teams are in the NHL. And that's what we're going to be reacting to today. On Wednesday, I sent out this Google form. We got almost 500 responses. Thank you so much to anybody that filled it out. And I basically asked you to rate every single team on a scale of 1 to 8, 8 being a true top tier contender, top 5 team in the NHL, and then working our way down all the way down to number 1 being a bottom 5 team, not solely just how they're playing right now, what their record indicates, how good you actually think that these teams are. So we're going to go through it now. I did have to delete like 10 responses because some people like flipped it and had like the Colorado Avalanche as a 1 because they thought 1 was best, which I can't really blame them on that, but I did explain it right here. Always read the instructions. And yeah, we're going to go through it. I think we're going to start with 25 through 32, 17 through 24, 9 through 16, and then 1 through 8. Shout out Babiak for making these graphics so I can blind react to it. I have not seen it yet. Without further ado, let's dive into it. I'm not going to have any power rankings probably this season. I'll probably do updated playoff odds in like a week or so for every single team, and then like Stanley Cup odds. I just don't really like power rankings that much because I feel obligated to put these teams that I know aren't that good but having good starts very, very high. But let's get into your power rankings. I know you guys did not overreact to some of these hot starts. Up first, the bad, 25 through 32. I agree. Bottom 2 is looking pretty straightforward. The Nashville Predators and the Calgary Flames absolutely stink. Calgary did get a win over the San Jose Sharks last night. The Sabres and the Blues, I don't think that they're that bad on paper, but I can't disagree with you guys because they've started out so goddamn bad. The Sabres lost last night again to the Colorado Avalanche. Like, right now, you'd have to bet that they're going to finish as bottom 6 or 7 teams. It starts getting interesting at my Islanders because they found a way to literally win last night. Again, Babiak got that picture from last night's win against the Vegas Golden Knights. And yeah, they're on pace for like 96 points. I think that they are going to slow down, but I hope that you guys are right. I would love to finish 5th, especially if it's like a 5th and you get like 79 points or something like that. But right now, I think you have to have the New York Islanders at like 22nd, 23rd. They're finding a way to win games, which is kind of horrifying me in terms of the ethical tank. We got to start losing some games. San Jose Sharks 27. Yeah, I kind of agree. And I maybe have them. I definitely have the Islanders ahead of them. Maybe the St. Louis Blues. Again, great start right now, but it is a little bit fugazi. They're finding insane ways to win games, but they're not going to be a sub 75 point team. I will be doing that Sharknado marathon according to my punishments. The Flyers, I've had a pretty solid start, but I agree they don't really have that high-end talent, and I'm not sure the goaltending, especially Dan Vladar, is going to be able to keep on going the way that he has. And then the Columbus Blue Jackets. Yeah, I've been pretty low on them throughout. They got a big win last night against the Edmonton Oilers. Probably would have them in like the 22 to 26 range, so I agree with you guys there on them. Moving into the below average. The Vancouver Canucks, man, I had them in the playoffs. They stink. Like every underlying number just shows that they are one of the worst teams in the NHL, and even their record, they're like a 500 team right now. I would probably have them in that Buffalo St. Louis range. I'd say like, again, I pumped their tires so much. Like if they were healthy, that's a scary thing. Like Thatcher Demko's been playing good and they've been so bad. So that's very concerning. Chicago, I don't know if I would have Chicago and San Jose separated that much. Where's San Jose at? 27. Yeah, I think I'd probably have Chicago at like 25, 26. I've said it so much, would still be an amazing season for the Chicago Blackhawks if they finished with 77 points or something like that. The New York Rangers being that low is shocking. Below the Pittsburgh Penguins, I've actually been pretty on the Boston Bruins, but they were just unlucky at home their first couple of games. I talked about that with Johnny Laz. Go watch the recent episode of the podcast. We also do a first overall draft. But yeah, that's crazy. I'd have the New York Rangers in my top 16 pretty easily. They've been dominating play. They just couldn't finish for the life of them at home. That's really surprising. Penguins, yeah, their PDO numbers have finally came back down to earth, but they actually are a pretty solid team, especially in terms of special teams. The Minnesota Wild, I can't get a read on this goddamn team. I was also very high on them, much like the Vancouver Canucks, but I think that the 18 spot is pretty fair for them. The Red Wings, yeah, I think that they're just going to be battling for a wild card spot this season, so I think you guys are pretty right on the money there. Big win against the Anaheim Ducks last night. Let's go to 9 through 16. Montreal. We'll get to Montreal. The LA Kings at 16. Yeah, perfectly average team. Either going to be the third Pacific team or battling for the last wild card spot. Toronto. I understand you guys think that they're going to figure it out. It's been bad to start the season. Lost last night in overtime to the LA Kings. Yeah, I still think they have the talent on paper to be a top 12 team, but in terms of Stanley Cup contention, it's a little bit shaky right now. I do agree that the Ottawa Senators, rightfully so, should be ahead of them. They're on I think they've gotten points in 9 out of their last 11 games. Washington, I don't know what to think of Washington. Off to a slow start. Pierre-Luc Dubois is hurt. But again, I think they're on the outside looking in the Metro Division with the Rangers, I think, being better than them. I think they'll still probably be a playoff team, but that injury is very concerning. And despite Logan Thompson playing so good to start the season, they're hovering around 500. Utah has just been so inconsistent. They had a 7-game win streak, then they lost 6 out of 7 games. It's been a little bit crazy. The Tampa Bay Lightning definitely should be ahead of the Canadiens in the Anaheim Ducks. This team has also dealt with some injuries, and it's still got back on track after such a bad start. I'd have Tampa Bay in my top 8. I'm kind of a Tampa Bay Glazer. Anaheim falling back down to earth a little bit, but the talent is still there. And Montreal, again, I asked you guys this Wednesday. It wasn't even Monday. They'd already lost pretty convincingly to the LA Kings. Montreal's got to slide to 15, 16 for me. After back-to-back brutal losses to the Dallas Stars and the Los Angeles Kings, I tweeted it out. They're 9-1-1 against non-2025 playoff teams and 1-4-1 against 2025 playoff teams. You got to take care of those bad teams, don't get me wrong, but they were a little bit fugazi. That's one where I think you guys kind of brought the hype a little bit too much. And now that Dobish doesn't have a 938 every single goddamn game, they are coming back down to earth. And Alex Newhook has a serious injury, unfortunately. And then 1 through 8. Florida Panthers are just tough because I could see you making an argument that you might not think that they're a playoff team. They're 9-7 right now, so I think they're going to get back on track and safely make the playoffs. If they are healthy, they're a top 3 team. But I definitely understand some people probably put them at a 4 or a 3 just because Kachuk's out till January. Barkov, we still don't know if he's going to return at all for the regular season or even in the playoffs. Winnipeg, yeah, they're safe playoff team. They probably got 6s galore, maybe some 7s. The Oilers, their underlying numbers have actually not been very good. Usually they start off slow, but it's solely the goaltending. The goaltending has been bad, don't get me wrong, but also they're not looking the same as prior seasons. The New Jersey Devils, yeah, I can't quite put them in a top 4 until they stay healthy, until they're healthy come playoff time. And until they actually do something in the playoffs. And then I think the top 4 is that's pretty consensus. I 100% agree. I don't know what exactly my order would be, but yeah, the Knights lost last night to my New York Islanders, but still going to be a safe playoff team. They are so fun to watch. That game last night against my New York Islanders was awesome. The Dallas Stars started off slow, but I think they have a 80% points percentage in their last 10 games. The Hurricanes also kind of a wagon right now, even with Ehlers only having 11 points in 18 games and dealing with some injuries. Gothisbears missed some injuries. Slavin's played 2 games thus far, and they're still first in the Eastern Conference. And then the Colorado Avalanche kind of got to be your first place team right now, even though they're an overtime shootout loss merchant. They're on pace for 132 points right now. But yeah, when looking at this, I think you're unfortunately a little too low on my New York Islanders. I hope that you're correct. Besides that, I think you guys did pretty good on the bad. I would move the Hawks down just a little bit. I think they are going to come back down to earth a tad. Vancouver should be lower. The Rangers should be higher. Minnesota, what are we doing? You got to get back on track. Montreal should definitely be lower. Washington maybe move them down a couple spots. Tampa should be within that at least 9. I don't know about top 8. And then, yeah, the Panthers, they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to be a high-level contender. And, yeah, I think you guys did a pretty solid job. But let me know in the comments, who would you personally move up, move down if you did vote? Who are you surprised that was so high or so low? I'll probably be doing updated playoff odds percentage at some point next week, maybe next Monday, then a cup odds in 2 weeks from that. I'll be seeing the next one. Go watch the latest episode of the podcast. Peace.